Jack Nicklaus and many other great players say that golf is a game of misses. And think about it. The difference between you and the greatest player in the world is not your best shot from 100 yards. Your best shot, their best shot from 100 yards, both go in the hole. The difference between you and them are your misses. Your misses are going to be much further away. So it's not about your best shots, it's about your misses. Golf is a game of misses. And if you can understand your misses, you can use your misses to improve. Everyone, whether or not they're developing their swing or taking their swing to the course, goes through a progression of misses. It isn't random. And this is how I believe it starts. First, it's the whiff, where you miss the ball entirely. Once you get tired of whiffing it, you start chunking it, because you're gonna make sure that not only do you contact the ball, but you take the ground with it too, because you're so tired of whiffing it. After you get tired of chunking it, you start topping it. You're making sure that you don't hit the ground anymore, but you're better than you were when you were whiffing it, so you could still nick the top of the ball. After the top comes the shank. Here's the thing that you don't realize. Every golfer has worked through the shank. I don't care if it's Tiger or Jack or your local club champion. Every golfer has had to deal with the shank. It's learning how to deal with the shank that starts to teach you how to create solid contact. So the shank, although it's a terrible shot, is just a part of the progression that you got to go through. After the shank, you start hitting it thin. Now, they say in golf, thin to win. There's a reason for that. Thin is not a bad miss. The ball, for the most part, is trying to behave. After thin comes solid. Now, solid doesn't mean solid in exactly where you want it to go. Solid usually starts with a solid slice. And there's nothing worse than the feeling of watching a solidly struck ball slice its way up over the trees as if it's looking for out of bounds. Now, the first fix for the slice is to start hitting pull hooks. Now, even though that pull hook might be just as much offline as the slice, it's a step up in your progression of misses. Something positive is happening. A hook is a very positive action. Although it's terrible and sends the ball well offline, it's a very positive indication of the quality of your swing. From there, you learn how to turn the pull hook into a block, where you just push it. And the ball doesn't go right or left, it just starts on a line and it stays on that line. It's just a big push. Now, as much as that still doesn't help you to make birdies and pars, it's closer to correct. After the push comes the snap hook. Now, here's the crazy thing about the snap hook. The snap hook can be just as far offline as the slice. But in order to hit the snap hook, you're doing many things correct. And you can use then your experience of working through the pull hook and the push to combine your knowledge in there to turn the snap hook into the solid tight draw or the solid tight fade. Now, nobody gets to skip those steps. It's something you have to work through, and it's because you work through it that you then know how to avoid those issues in the future. I don't shank it because I worked through that already and I figured out a way to hide the hosel from the ball. It's what I teach my students. Now, speaking of my students, they get to skip through a lot of these early steps of contact because with the swing that I teach, solid contact is really easy to create. And they actually have to start more at the pull hook level for things. The pull hook, of course, it's a miss, but it's very close to getting to the place of hitting really beautiful shots. Now, I wish I could just wave a magic wand and you can hit these solid tight draws. But the problem with that is because you don't go through this progression, you don't know how to fix it when you miss it. So you have to work through your misses. First, you're gonna work through your misses on the range, then you're gonna work through your misses on the course. So now the next time you go to the range, if you start having misses, your first concern is my miss consistent? If you're topping it, at least if you're topping it every time, you're doing the same thing. Don't worry about it. Work through it. Understand that your weight controls the bottom of your arc. Put more weight on your lead foot, and that top shot will turn into a solid shot. And then the same is true with your directional errors. You have to work through those directional errors. And I have a beautiful system where I basically take you through that process. And it's a very swift process where although you do have to hit some pull hooks and you do have to hit some blocks and you do have to hit some hooks, very quickly you can get to the point where you hit a lot of solid tight draws, and then you are empowered with the experience of knowing how to fix those mistakes when they happen again. So don't be scared of your misses. Embrace your misses. The game is trying to teach you something. Try to learn it, try to deduce it, treat it like a puzzle, and you'll find out that your misses are trying to teach you how to hit really solid shots. Thanks for watching, and stay connected for more tips and updates by following me on social media. And if you're really serious about improving your game, Check out my online golf school, JimVenetosGolfAcademy.com. Right now, golfers are cutting their handicaps in half with the system that I teach. Links in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time on the practice tee.